Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Diane's been working with buyers and sellers in the Missoula market for over 25 years and shares her insights on the local housing market. Along with her trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction and brings us guests who provide useful information on industry-related topics and trends. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk, KGVO. Glad you're with us the weekend before Turkey Day. We want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, of course, and thank you for joining Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk KGVO, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. And my guest, I always love this show the most when good friends get to come in here and visit about what they've got going on. And that week, today is Shane Clouse, Pink Grizzly Greenhouse. Welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today.
Thanks for having me in, Denny. It's I told you I'm a very loyal fan of the show, and we listen every Saturday, and we're just happy to be here. I'm glad you thought of us. And
I talked to a colleague, a competitor, but a friend of yours, Bill Karras from Karras Nursery, a few weeks back, and same. He and I go back a long, long way too. So that is always fun. And like Karras Nursery, there is a colorful history to Pink Grizzly. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I will, but I got to give a plug to Karras Nursery, because if you haven't been to their Christmas store, I'm a competitor, and I buy things for my wife at Bill Karras' store because it's absolutely beautiful.
Excellent.
And you ought to check that out.
Yeah.
Pink Grizzly is such an odd name. It's such an eclectic, wonderful Missoula weirdness. It
was weird before Missoula was weird.
It was weird before Missoula was weird. Yeah. I think so. So my parents moved here from the eastern part of the Midwest. My dad's from Michigan. My mom's from far eastern North Dakota. They moved here in 1956 to Missoula, and they started a little farm on Russell Street, which at the time was a single-track dirt road, no bridge over Russell Street. So my dad always wanted to be a farmer. He bought his little gentleman's 4-H farm, and they started having children, and they started a truck farm way back then. So they were already selling produce and whatever they could, because I'm the youngest of 8 kids, so they needed to not only make a little extra money, but they needed to keep all those kids out of jail, so they kept us busy. So the Pink Grizzly got its name because in their truck farm, my dad built this building with a cooler in it, and there was a sale on pink paint. So money was tight with 8 kids to support. So this is like a Merle Haggard song, isn't it?
It's getting there, yeah.
So the money was tight. The sale on the pink paint was cheap. They painted the building pink. The kids wanted to name it Pink Panther at the time, but obviously that's trademarked and copywritten. And we have our lovely Montana Grizzlies here at the University of Montana. So the name became Pink Grizzly, and it was official in 1970. And we have now been officially Pink Grizzly for over 40 years. But the business has been around for longer than that. So it's fun that Missoula supported such a cute, eclectic business like Pink Grizzly. And we have been eclectic and entrepreneurial over the years.
Has it been that same location, Russell in Wyoming, the whole time?
It has been there the entire time. There have been opportunities. My parents, years and years ago, thought they might want to buy a bigger ranch outside of town, and my mom decided not to sign the papers, and we're really glad she did. That land has supported hundreds and hundreds of Missoula area youth doing seasonal businesses. Plus, every one of my siblings and I, that business sent us to college, and all of our grandkids, and now the great-grandkids of my parents. So it's that little business has really given a lot of people an opportunity. You
were the youngest of 8. What was it like growing up in that environment as your mom and dad built this business?
It was like having I have 3 brothers and 4 sisters, and I'm the youngest by quite a few years. My sister, whom you graduated high school with, is 19 years older than me. So there was a joke. We're Catholic, there was a joke that one of those Clouse girls had a baby, and my mom was just saying that that it was hers, but no, it really was my mom. And it's really unique to be the youngest in a family of 8. Of course, the older ones did have it harder, but I was like having 5 moms and 4 dads,
right.
And they did spoil the heck out of me. I did get it a little bit harder than some things because I couldn't get away with things, but it's such a fun environment, at least in our family. It is really all for one and one for all. When things get tough or when the season is on, my siblings still come back to help me sell Christmas trees or to plant the flowers in the nursery stock that we have. So it's still very much a family business, and we have 3 generations of our family that still work there. My mom is 92. She makes all the jam that we sell. She comes out and makes sure everyone's taken care of. Of course, she puts her mask on now, and she's this cute little old lady. You wouldn't know she's 92 because she still drives. But and then, she's got grandkids that still work there, too. So we have 3 generations of our family that still work there.
Yeah. And, of course, one of the reasons I invited you on is on a Missoula Real Estate Today show is to talk about home for the holidays and home decor and what that's like in 2020. It's Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate on News Talk KGVO. My guest, my friend Shane Clouse of Pink Grizzly Greenhouse. And what motivated you to carry on that family tradition?
Well, my parents really encouraged us to be entrepreneurial, so they let us utilize our land long before we had any money where we could pay a lease like we do now, or even rent or anything. They just wanted us to, basically keep our minds going and stay busy. So I felt that to whom much is given, much is expected. So that business helped me. I was a pretty good student. I had a full ride scholarship when I went to school. And much of that is due to the opportunities that my parents and my family gave me and the investment that they put of time into me. So when the opportunity came, I went out in the world. I got to work for corporate America, and I got to travel all over the world. And you know that I used to be a songwriter in Nashville, and I got to follow my dreams. And that was wonderful. But I had to do those things in places that weren't Montana. And my heart and soul is here in Missoula, Montana. And this business gave me an opportunity to make a home and a really good living where I grew up. Yeah. So when that opportunity arose, I did not hesitate to take it because Montana is it truly is the last best place. It's just, for me, there's no better place.
What changes have you seen in customer buying habits at Pink Grizzly influenced by the pandemic over these last 9 months? All the entrepreneurial things we do a lot of things that are evolve around certain events, whether that's Christmas or our fireworks season or the spring season with planting a garden. I always tell our employees, we're not really selling a product. We're selling people happiness or the idea of Christmas. So what I do see is more folks supporting us because there's a lot of scary stuff. You listen to what's going on in the news and the media, and it's scary. But if you come into Pink Grizzly, it's like there's a shield around it. You're still going to see the flowers, and you're going to walk into this little Christmas store. And I think what we're doing is we're making people happy for a little bit of time. And it's easy to see on people's faces when they come in. I mean, we still mask up. We've got hand sanitizer all over the place, but it's open air, so it's kind of like a park-like setting. So, you're not walking into an air-conditioned office with recycled air. I really think that we are selling a little bit of normalcy in this craziness that's happened to us in 2020. I also I think that you'd agree that there's been a lot more interest in the whole grow your own at home aspect
Absolutely.
Of things, would you not? I mean, I imagine that you're seeing a lot more of that business.
I absolutely see that. I do think that, with scare shortages in stores and things, a lot of folks are getting back to putting things in the garden so they can grow a little bit of their own food or do some canning and things like that. And we saw a lot of that folks were coming in to make sure that they had stuff that they could make their own food so they could have something for the winter.
Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Shane Clouse, owner of Pink Grizzly Greenhouse here in Missoula. And you brought this up briefly, but also in the home entertainment category, we'll put this one as far as things that have been going on the last 9 months, and specifically this summer. You are also Pink Grizzly Fireworks, about 10 days out of the year. What changes did you see there?
I think we saw some enormous changes because people were tired of being cooped up and they wanted to celebrate. Mm-hmm. They couldn't go to a concert. You couldn't go to a baseball game. At that time, you really couldn't go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
People wanted to celebrate, and they came and they were happy to celebrate their independence in their own backyard in a time where we really aren't very independent at all, because if we're going to follow the rules and protect each other, we really need to distance. But folks did that. We had boatloads of hand sanitizer, and really that was the comments we got from people. Well, we just really want to celebrate. We're going to celebrate with our family this year, but we're going to light some fireworks, and we're going to have a nice barbecue in our backyard. Again, it goes back to that finding a spot for joy in your life.
What is that business like? Does it change from year to year? Are there trends? Are you trying to merchandise items that you've heard are going to be really popular, or that what is that? What is that like? Do you have pretty much a standard order you're going to try to fill every year? I mean, I think that's
a really good question. It is because we've been in the business so long, actually longer than I've been alive. It's actually 50 years now, and I'm 47. So we have a lot of history, so we know what people like. And over the years, people have started to like things that are a little bit bigger bang, and they're willing to spend more for that bigger shock and awe, like the fair fireworks. And that has changed. Also, as we are kind of unique in the fireworks business, where we own our own land, so we don't go out and lease a spot for a couple of years and throw a fireworks stand there. We've been in the same place contiguously for 50 years. So we have parents, their kids, their grandchildren, some of their great-grandchildren have been coming back as we've been in business long enough. So we have been able to develop a pretty good knowledge of what our customer base likes. And also the industry itself has created safe and sane fireworks that are just really a lot nicer to look at. They might be a little bit louder, just more beautiful shock and awe display. And the quality of those has actually improved tremendously, and that's provided by a local provider. Our Brown Company is a wholesaler all over the Northwest, and they're very, very good friends of ours. Obviously, we've been in business with each other for many years, and they provide a quality product.
Well, let's get to a couple of the topics that I invited you to show up here for today. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. My guest, Shane Clouse, owner of Pink Grizzly Greenhouse. Are you getting a sense, Shane, that people might be, it's kind of like stepping up their fireworks game, I guess, brighter and more explosions. You getting a sense that people might be looking to step up their holiday decorating this year?
Yeah, as I said, we've got this somewhat eclectic, well, not somewhat, we have a very eclectic business on it. We sell Christmas trees, we sell wreaths, we sell fireworks, we sell plants, and those kind of things, they just kind of organically evolve. But as far as Christmas goes, I see people are disappointed that they can't have a big Thanksgiving gathering. Disappointed, well, not that they can't, but they just have to be more careful about that. Like, I know I'm concerned. My mom's 92. We got a lot of college kids working for us. So we're going to protect our customers. We're going to protect our employees so we can continue working. And we got to protect our mom. She's the matriarch, and very much the reason why that business is alive and thriving. Having said that, that brings me to my point that it really is all about family. Our business is part of our Christmas tradition. So I think I have seen a lot of folks that are already coming in to buy a tree, or they're ordering at our MontanaWreaths.com, which is a nationwide shipping platform. About that too. Yeah. I've seen that and sensing from people and hearing from them that they by golly, are going to carry on a tradition. And again, I come back to that. We're finding the joy. You got to find some joy when all hell is breaking loose around you, so you can find some peace and joy. And that's really what we're all about. We're selling tree branches, really. We're selling Christmas trees, if you break it down to the simplicity of it. But when you put tradition and some beauty and decoration and a family together making that decoration happen, it makes it so much more than just a retail item.
Are there any things like that you've noticed over the years that Montanans really like? I mean, when you're merchandising for the holidays, you're thinking to yourself, boy, Pink Grizzly better have a bunch of these. Or is it just kind of anything
Absolutely.
and everything?
So we are known for, we're the largest Christmas tree retailer in the state of Montana. And we have decades-long relationship with some of our friends who are native Salish and Kootenai.
Right.
And they cut trees for us. I mean, we're talking decades. Some of these guys that are cutting trees with us, I've been working with them for over 30 years, and I'm only 47. So the one thing that we are known for is subalpine fir, which grows locally. And if I didn't have any of those, there would be about 3,000 people in Missoula that would be very disappointed. It's a tall, skinny, very stately-looking tree. They smell very fragrant.
Yeah.
They're not particularly great for timber trees. Another thing I always like to tell people, because we're cutting these trees down, but with the native cut trees that we cut, we actually cut them a couple of feet off the ground and leave some branches on them. So once we cut the Christmas tree, that tree, one of the branches will grow into a new tree within a few years. So we're not actually killing all the Christmas trees because we want to sustain the ability to continue to get this local product for generations in the future. So we actually don't kill them all. They actually grow a new tree. We can do it in a sustainable way, which makes it even more fun.
So that's part of the process. It sounds like you have really committed to that as far as how you go about acquiring quality trees.
I do. It really comes down to relationships. Our business is, we've talked about the eclectic name and the family component. All the things we're talking about are things that set us up for longevity. And, we have a great nation where you got a guy like me that can make a really good living and employ about 50 people selling tree branches. So if you put those tree branches in a pretty circle and you put a bow on them and some pine cones and some decorations and they smell great, all of a sudden that's not a pile of tree branches anymore. We call that a Christmas wreath, and it's beautiful and it smells great and it makes people happy. And we have cultivated these business relationships a lot like yours and mine. I mean, you've known me since I was a young man, and here we are talking on the radio and 30 years down the road. And that's what I'm all about. I've got my 5-year plan, but for our business and the relationship that we have, whether it's my customers or the vendors we buy things from, we try to cultivate lifelong relationships. And at least for our family business, that's been a really good secret for success.
And this radio we are talking on is News Talk KGVO. My guest, Shane Clouse, owner of Pink Grizzly Greenhouse on Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Oh, I also want to say thanks to some of Diane's marketing partners that help bring you the show. I help bring us the show to you, that is. Rob Fleming with Man Mortgage, Miles Link from Opportunity Bank of Montana, and Carol Blodgett with MakeItMissoula.com. All right, Montana Wreaths, MontanaWreaths.com. And I got to admit, I guess I haven't known about this facet of your business for too many years. Mm-hmm. I guess I sort of got introduced to it when you came in and recorded a radio commercial for it a few years back. But just a phenomenal success story. And how did Montana Wreaths start growing into the business it is today?
Back in the early 90s and through the late 90s when the dot-com explosion was going on. And my brother and I decided we wanted to start a dot-com. And I at the time, I said, we don't make anything that we grow plants. You can't, we couldn't ship that. So I said, the only thing that I could think of that we can make is Christmas wreaths. So we decided we were going to start a .com around Christmas trees. Well, what should we call it? I said, well, it should be MontanaWreaths.com. So we bought the name, and then it stuck. And then the first year, we sold about 50 of them. And then fast forward to now where we're going to make about 6,000 of them and sell them all in the next 15 days. And it's just been a great resource. I grew up in an agronomy oriented family and logging, and it's a big part of my family. And so to be able to do this sustainable extraction, we don't even have to kill the tree. We just trim the branches and then we can go do it again next year. So it's really fit a niche for us because we're still involved in agriculture. When the greenhouse is slow, we have something to do in the wintertime and keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, you wouldn't be selling them 6,000 though. 6,000 of them if you weren't good at it though. What are the touches? What in your mind do you feel really sets a Montana wreath apart? Obviously, the word Montana is going to have some appeal to
Absolutely.
it when you're talking about Christmas tree things. But what have you developed and tried to perfect over these years? Because that's amazing.
It starts with it, like anything. Like if you're going to build a home, we're talking about a real estate show. You want to start with a good foundation. So we start with a good foundation of good raw materials. And the raw materials that we get that are uniquely from Western Montana. We use specifically grand fir from Western Montana. It's the most fragrant. So if you go to our testimonials on our website, people talk about, oh my gosh, I smelled it before I could even open the box. It just smells great. People walk into our store and probably 4 out of every 5 customers say, oh my gosh, it smells great in here. And we used to make a joke that when anybody said it smelled great in the room, that we had to drop down and do 10 push-ups. Well, we had to quit doing that really quick because we got tired, or our arms got tired. So we start with good raw materials, and then I just started to think about things that are uniquely Montana to me. I have a sister and her husband and family are big-time wheat farmers. I mean, big-time wheat farmers, thousands of acres. And I thought, well, we should get some wheat and put some wheat in the wreaths. So I go visit them, and I get wheat from some of their wheat fields, and we add wheat to the wreaths. My other sister's a big-time rancher in eastern Montana. And, I mean, these are folks that are really in agriculture. I just grow flowers for them. These they do the real deal. Well, they have a lot of sagebrush on their property, and it smells great. And we always talk about how it smells great. So we started putting sagebrush and wheat in them. And then I love to hunt, and I love to fish, and I love this plant called red twig dogwood. It turns bright red in the fall, and you'll see it by about every creek in Montana. And so we started red twigged dogwood. Dogwood, okay, got it. Some people also call it red osier dogwood. It's beautiful. I mean, it's almost so red it's pink, and you can see it from the highway at 55 miles an hour. It's just real bright this time of year. Yeah. So we put those things in. So we put uniquely Montana things in the wreath, and it's all Montana raw materials, and then we make them right here in Missoula, and we put them in a box that says Montana Wreaths on it. Looks just like a Christmas package, like it's wrapped. And then we send them to New York, Hawaii, Arkansas, California, and a lot of them to Montana. Most of our customers have an association with Montana, whether that be through their parents or their children, and they miss home or their kids are away. But once we get a customer, they usually stick around because it really does remind folks of Montana.
And, of course, I assume you can enhance those with holiday doodads. But what's fascinating to me is that you talk about all those things. You talk about the wheat and the sagebrush and all of that. And so you have really created a kind of a Montana nature masterpiece without even putting an ornament or a little reindeer or whatever on it.
We try to use what Montana gave us, what God provides, and we do put some embellishments. So the ribbon obviously is not harvested in Montana. It's probably made in China if I had to trace it back. So we do put a nice bow on it, but we use. I have a bunch of. I have my own little forest, and I have lots of pine cones. So I use ponderosa pine cones, and we try to decorate with more natural things. Our wreaths aren't as glitzy and glamorous, but they provide natural beauty, which that really is influenced by me because I spend as much of my free time as I can in the backcountry, in the wilderness of Montana, and so some of that flavor, my passion for wilderness and wild things is in our products because they're very, very natural looking. There's not going to be a lot of bling except for the ribbon. So, yeah.
I know you won't brag about it, so I'll congratulate you on having another pretty danged successful hunting season so far.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a great year hunting. That's for sure.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate on News Talk KGVO. My guest Shane Clouse with Pink Grizzly Greenhouse. And as far as you do the mail order business, the online order business for MontanaWreaths.com, but also they're available here in Missoula at the store, correct?
Oh, yes.
If people want to come get a better look at what we're talking about.
That's right. So obviously Pink Grizzly, we've already talked about the story, and it's cute and it's eclectic, but Pink Grizzly outside of Missoula doesn't really equate, and people don't understand what it is, and there's some really cute off-color stories that we probably don't want to talk about on the radio. But so we called that Montana Wreaths. And in Missoula, they're really one and the same because they're housed in the same building. So if you walk into our store, not only will you smell it right away from the parking lot because it smells fantastic, but you're going to see a selection of several hundred wreaths right there in the store. And then if you want to ship one to Grandma in New York or Hawaii, our only limitations, we can't ship out of the United States, but we can ship, and this is my favorite thing to do, we really support the military, and so we can ship to any military base in the United States. So we can ship to Japan if it's a military base. We can ship to Germany. We can ship to Afghanistan And we do when somebody wants to send something to their son or daughter that's serving our country overseas. So we can send to an APO or an FPO.
That's terrific. Yeah. Beyond family, which you've spoken proudly of, what are some of the other things you really love about operating Pink Grizzly?
Well, it's given me a blessing that I get to make a living in the town that I grew up on the property that I grew up on. And, I work a lot, you know that, but when you find something that you love to do, you don't mind doing it every day. And I really think that's the business has given back to me the ability to do something that I love. And it's supported my other dreams. And I would have to say, beyond my family, it's very difficult to run a family business, but most of the successful businesses in the world are family businesses. I am very thankful for the people that I get to work with. I have many people that we call it our work family that have worked for me and with me for years. And they are truly my friends. And we treat each other and we back each other like family. And it's been a great recipe for success. So very thankful for that.
Your dream you refer to, you are a very, very successful, accomplished, talented singer, songwriter, entertainer, and I imagine there's been a yield sign in front of an awful lot of that this year, hasn't there?
Yeah, my last gig was a great big gig in Minneapolis, Minnesota for a big convention there. I was their entertainment, and we weren't even sure. They were closing airports. My wife and I weren't even sure we were going to be able to fly back to Montana.
Yeah.
But we got back okay. Music is very much a part of my life. A lot of folks, they see me wearing my coveralls and I'm the greenhouse guy or the Christmas tree guy. And sometimes they don't even realize it's the same person they see on stage. But that is one of my great passions in life, and I'm thankful to still be able to do that. It is a challenge as a musician, somebody that creates music, to not be able to. For me, I have to be able to share it with people like you, Denny, or in a concert setting, because for me, when I play music for other folks and they enjoy it, they're giving the energy back to me. So it's that give and take. And I truly do miss that. But you know what? I'm a positive guy.
Yeah.
This isn't going to keep us down. I'll be playing music for everybody soon, and I promise. Even if I got to set up my great big stereo system at Pink Grizzly, and I'll make sure everybody around town can hear it.
Well, if people want to come, hear you play in the nursery or get a Christmas tree or a Montana wreath, let's talk about your location and hours. And parking is a little different since the reconfiguration of Russell Street, but it's really cool. All of that stuff if people want to come to Pink Grizzly, Shane.
It's really easy to find on the corner of Russell and Wyoming Street. We've been there for over 70 years. And we have a really nice new parking lot. We got 30 parking spaces. It's just different. People are used to parking on Russell Street, and the Department of Transportation won't let us park on Russell Street anymore, but you can sure park in our parking lot. And it's a lot safer, and it's really clean, and it's really the project is all finished now, and it really looks nice. This time of year, starting next week around Thanksgiving, we're going to be open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We are limited a little bit because there are some recommendations because of the COVID rules. So we do have limited hours, and that allows us, if there are some people that are still very frightened to come in and be around other people, we just ask them, you give us a call, I'll let you come and shop by yourself between 9 and 10 a.m. You will not have to be around other folks, especially if you're in a sensitive group. Really important for me to do that. But if we open the gates, then everybody can come in. So what we do is we keep the gate closed. There's phone numbers on the gate. You come up there, and I will personally let you in and let you shop. And so far, nobody's taken advantage of that because Missoula's pretty cool about taking care of its people. And if we can find positives, which I like to do in this, Missoula's done a pretty good job at trying to take care of its people, and folks have been very, very understanding of each other. So.
Shane Clouse, Pink Grizzly Greenhouse on Missoula Real Estate Today. Great seeing you. Happy holidays. And
great to see you, too.
Did a wonderful job. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, and you say hi to Diane Beck. She's sure a great real estate agent.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today. Contact Diane Beck with Windermere Real Estate or visit her website, homesinmissoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today.